That's a little piece called Bugler's Holiday. John, how'd we do, okay? Yeah, John's a trumpet player, and so I wanted to get his approval before we went on. So, but you know, I chose that piece to start things out because I thought, I want everybody to smile. How can you not smile when that song is played, huh? Would you thank our trumpet players, okay? Now, some of you were given a flag, and I told to those handing them out, only give them to people who look like they are fun people and they're ready to be in the patriotic spirit and wave it at the right time. Boy, I'm seeing a lot of people that I know that I'm so glad that are here, and they're good Americans too. So here we go. Get ready to wave and sing and clap and whatever comes to mind. Here we go, Elliot. Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for waving that flag. Now, that's not the last time you're going to wave it, so don't think you're done, okay? You're just getting warmed up. My name is Steve, and it is so good to have you here. And I hope those marches kind of got the blood flowing a little bit. A good Stars and Stripes Forever is a great way to start our gathering today. You know, as Americans, we have much to be thankful for. Amen? Amen. I think of the generations of patriots that have come before us. I think of the freedoms that we enjoy as a country, and I also think of the assurance of a faithful God that we serve, that will never leave us and will always have his hand upon us. Well, we're going to sing some songs now, and we would like you to sing with us. So rise to your feet, rise to your feet. We want you to sing along with us, even if you're not a singer. We want you to sing along with us and celebrate this great land that we live in. Okay, well, I won't be. You got to keep those flags handy, because if there's ever a moment that's kind of meaningful to you and you say, I'm glad to be American, just no matter who's not doing it, just wave your flag a little bit, okay, tonight as we go through the evening. Well, we're going to continue on, but we're going to do something. This is crazy what we're going to do right now, okay? We have not done this in this church for like 3+ years. I'm going to invite you to turn to your neighbor. It's gonna be an old school turn and greet. Greet them and tell them you're glad they're here and you're glad that they're wearing red, white, and blue tonight. Go ahead, get to know somebody.
I walked through the county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. He said, "Your courthouse is kind of run down." I said, "Nah, it'll do for our little town." He said, "Your flagpole there, it's leaned a little bit. That's a ragged old flag you hanging on it." He said, "Have a seat." So I sat down.
Is this your first time to our little town?
Well, I think it is.
Well, I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, it got that little hole right there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And it got some powder burns the night that Francis Scott Key stood watching and writing, "Oh, say, can you see?" And it got a big rip in New Orleans with Packingham and Jackson where they're tugging at the seams. Oh, and she almost fell at the Alamo, but with the Texas flag. But she waved on, though. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville, and she got cut again at Shiloh Hill. With Robert E. Lee and Beauregard and Bragg, that south wind, it just blew hard against that ragged old flag. In Flanders Field in World War I, it got a big hole from a Bertha gun. Oh, and she turned blood red in World War II, and she hung limp and low a time or two. She's been in Korea and in Vietnam. She went where she was sent by Uncle Sam. She waved over our ships on the briny foam, but now they've just about stopped waving her back here at home. In her own good land, she's been abused. She's been burned, dishonored, denied, refused. And the government for which she stands, it's scandalized throughout this land. Well, she's getting threadbare and she's wearing thin, but she's in pretty good shape for the shape she's in, because she's been through the fire before. And I believe that she can do a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning and we take her down every night. And we don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her up right. You know, on second thought, I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Down yet. Well, one of my hopes, our hopes and prayers for tonight is that we would leave here with a renewed sense of pride. Pride, as in, I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be living in this great land. Amen? So, you're a big part of this. We're going to sing one of America's favorite songs, America the Beautiful, and I want to hear you fill this room with your voices. Okay. You gave such a great effort there. You're exhausted. You need to sit down now. Thank you. Some of you are saying, I didn't know we came here to sing. I thought it was going to be a concert. Well, no, you're part of the celebration. I had the privilege of participating in a Memorial Day parade. If you weren't there this year, it's a great event, and it's scheduled next year for the Saturday prior to the holiday, so put that on your calendar. But I was driving a golf cart with a couple Vietnam veterans, and I got to meet them. And one of them, in a parade, we're kind of waiting for the parade to start, and so there's kind of chit-chat back and forth. And so I got to know one of the gentlemen especially well in the back of my golf cart, and I extended an invitation to see if he would come to our event. And here he is right in the front row. Now, just hold on. So I called my good friend Bill, who's a friend of Kenny, and I said, tell me a little bit about Kenny. He says, well, he was part of the United States Navy, and he had 3 tours in Vietnam, and he received 3 Gold Star medals. And so I said, well, I think that our room is going to want to thank Kenny Waldy for his service. So Kenny, can you stand up? Thank you. There we go, Kenny. That's good. Okay, we are going to honor our military right now, and as we do every year, and this is the highlight of our evening. And what we're going to do is many we have in here are veterans or presently serving in our military, our armed forces. And so when we play and sing the song of your branch of service, we would like you to stand where you are so that you'd allow us to honor you tonight.
When duty has called, Americans have answered, even at the cost of their lives. Tonight, we salute our heroes who return from the battlefields both here and abroad, and we remember those who did not return. Throughout the history of this nation, there have been many that have bravely given their lives to preserve, protect, and defend the essentials of freedom. They are fellow citizens who wore the uniforms of the military, firefighters, police, nurses, and doctors. They were construction workers, business people, civil servants, and volunteers who found themselves in the grip of crisis and rose to greatness. They are Americans. They are family, friends, and neighbors. We know them. We love them. We miss them. From the very foundations of this republic, our citizens have offered the sacrifice that freedom requires. Less than a century into our nation's independence, our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, spoke of this sacrifice and devotion. The time, November 19th, 1863. The event, the dedication of a national cemetery. The place, a little-known village in southern Pennsylvania called Gettysburg. The words, few, but forever inscribed on the heart of a grateful nation.
77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
There is no love greater than this, to lay down your life for your friends. Tonight, we honor those who gave the last full measure of devotion. Our mothers, fathers, wives and husbands, sisters and brothers, daughters and sons, our family, neighbors, and friends. We remember, we must never forget.
You had hopes and dreams. You had loved ones like us all. but you laid them all aside when your country called. Now your family wonders when they'll see the price you paid. Has everyone forgotten what you gave? And I remember you. How you love this land and what your love led you to do. And it will be with love and gratitude that I remember you. Living in this land, blessed with more than I deserve. I'm humbled by your sacrifice, for I've never had to serve. When this nation needed help preserving liberty, you faced your fears and fought so faithfully. But I remember you. How you love this land and what your love led you to do. And it will be with love and gratitude that I remember
As I think many of you know, many veterans, especially who are in the line of combat, it's a difficult transformation or transition, coming back to civilian life. And that's the case for one of our own, Dustin Meyer, who is a part of our church here at Christ Community Church, allowed us to tell his story, his difficult story. And it's a story of war, it's a story of love, and it's a story of great faith.
I had a really strong family. They cared every holiday, didn't matter what it was, family together. Just grew up kind of rambunctious, like little boys will do. A lot of times it was dad was drinking and he didn't like something that happened that day, or I made him mad or something like that. But I mean, it wasn't a natural routine thing. It was, you never know when it's gonna happen kind of thing. I acted out more probably because of him and his bad habits and everything. My role model was my grandfather on my mom's side. When he passed away, I was still in the Army, so that one kind of hit me hard. He didn't really open up to me until I joined the Army. So there's a lot of times that I wish I had more time with him. I remember that day, I was in high school and just walking down the hallway and some kid come kind of running down the hallway and just screaming, "The plane went into the tower." And I thought this kid was on something. I know the bell rang, walk right into the classroom and the TV's on and World Trade Center had been hit, and it made me angry. I think that's where my true colors of patriotism came out. I mean, it just takes something to get to that level. So I just fast-tracked as fast as I could to get out of here and just ran to the Army. I was the top of the line of my shooter for my group. I was the designated marksman for my own platoon. Long rifles, sniper rifles. When we go to war, we're there for a cause. But that cause, especially my war, turned into something that was just chaos. In Iraq, I lost 10 buddies. And the ones that I had left were all leaving or moving to a new duty station, so I didn't want to be there anymore. It always goes back to that brotherhood. It just makes the life easier, but once you lose it, puts you right back into the place where you were. You kind of lie to yourself in your own head and tell yourself that everything will be all right, and then that weight just keeps adding up and adding up until you hit rock bottom. I went through both my wars not scared. Left the wire, never feared, one bit. I came home and I was scared that I was gonna do something wrong here. Nothing goes the way your plans go. And that's the fact of that is, it's not your plan, it's God's plan. I met Becca at my going away party, and I seen her come downstairs, and there was just something about her. I tried, and every time I come home, nope.
July of 2016, I was going out with some girlfriends. For the first time in 11 years, I finally gave him my phone number.
When she came along, just clicked.
I wanted him to be heard. I wanted him to feel comfortable talking to me about anything.
She'd cry. She'd cry for me. She didn't pressure me still with church. She knew my past. We came to church periodically. Then I met Ron. Ron is my father-in-law.
He has a great heart, because my daughter, Shelly, who's Rebecca's sister, and Ashley, the other sister, told us, that they really liked the guy. He just hit it off with the family.
Mainly, it was a lot of just seeing how much of a godly man he was. Seeing that was different. I was already on this forward motion, and he comes in my life, and it's a blessing, and to see that role model in my life compared to my my actual father.
Every parent wants the best for their kids. As a part of that faithfulness, every parent prays for their children. We're no different. I journal. I'm sure that I go back in my journals, I could find some annotation where I prayed for that Dustin and Rebecca would be walking with the Lord, or that Dustin would be a little more sure of where he was spiritually, or definitely prayed that the demons that were making his life miserable because of his military experience or because of what happened in combat.
Every day got a little better. With Ron kind of chipping away at me dating Becca for the few years at that time, decided to get engaged. And her sister, Ashley, referred Mark Montagna.
What I've discovered as a pastor and as a person is learning how to listen to people well can really impact their lives.
Thought I was going in for marriage counseling, and next thing I knew, I was understanding every aspect of my life with Christ and why I'm not such a bad guy after all.
There were times where I would engage with him or ask him a question or maybe even challenge him. I would suggest Bible readings or books for him to read, and he would then act. So it's, there was action that was taking place between the two of us, and I think between him and Becca.
Of all the bad things I've done, the chaoses of war, Mark made me think that life's okay, and I can cope with what I have, and what I did and what I do now all has a purpose still.
To know him and to hear his story, especially his story as it relates to Iraq and Kuwait, and it's, even though I don't know that he recognized that Jesus was working in his life, the way he responds to his time in Afghanistan and how he would say fell in love with the country or the nation or the people, I think God was redeeming something in that, redeeming the negativity of the first half or the first part of his military career, and redeeming his life, his duty, the action, and some of the things that he was engaged in.
It's like when we were standing up there on the baptism, I leaned into Mark and I was like, I'm starting to feel something.
It was extraordinary. Those people that saw it in the sanctuary, there's no words for it. It just moved me.
As long as you believe in the faith, every day's a good day.
I think that's one of the reasons, or Dustin's life in lots of ways should be an encouragement to the church. You have Ron, you have Becca, you have myself, and you have other influences in Dustin's life. You never know how the God of the universe might use you.
If they spend enough time with him, they're gonna see he's a new person.
Dustin and Becca and Peyton are here. Would you guys stand so we can thank you for sharing your story? Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There sun, moon, and stars in the courses above. Join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth. Thy own dear presence to cheer and to guide. Strength for today, bright hope for tomorrow. Blessings of mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. It is the faithfulness of an almighty loving God that has blessed us in our brightest moments and sustained us in our darkest hours. It is the faithfulness of an almighty loving God that has helped us survive our prosperity and endure our poverty. It is the faithfulness of an almighty loving God that brings us comfort in the face of staggering loss. As valiant as our efforts are to defend all that we hold dear, we are now more aware than ever that it takes divine intervention to give us the wisdom and the courage to protect all that we hold sacred. Over 60 years ago, the founder of Christ Community Church, R.R. Brown, prayed a fervent prayer for our nation that is just as relevant today as it was back then. Let's bow together in prayer as Dr. Brown once again leads us.
Silently and solemnly we have bowed our heads and our hearts before thee to confess to thee the awful stupidity of the wisdom of man, and to ask thee to forgive nations for their tragic conduct, and to pray that thou wilt bless and comfort hearts who gave themselves to preserve the freedom that is our heritage. And, O God, we praise thee that thou hast kept us. Thou hast been good to us, better than we deserve. And we thank thee for all that thou art and all thou hast done. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, We would ask that the missionaries of the cross and the national church may rise up in its might in this hour to possess land for thee and glorify thyself. And remember our armed forces wherever they are. Our Father, we pray that thou wilt send a great revival to America and to the world. Oh, help us to urge thee upon the hearts of men. Wilt thou forgive us, cleanse us from our sins as a nation, make us worthy of thy help in this hour, and help us to be upon thy side, O God, in righteousness and in justice and in peace. O God, breathe thyself into it all today in the name of the Prince of Peace, who said, when ye pray, say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
This is a nation that boldly proclaims her trust in God. God has blessed America. God does watch his children. God will lead his people. We hold this truth. The temporal and the vulnerable will soon give way to the immortal and the invincible. There is a sweet land of eternal liberty yet to come, a homeland that will never be corrupted or diminished by hatred and fear. It is a promised land made possible by a just and gracious God, the one true God, the God of all that was, the God of all that is, and the God of all that will be. Great is his love, great is his care, and great is his faithfulness. When our founding fathers bravely formed this nation, they spoke of him as our creator when they wrote their declaration. He was there from the beginning. That's how we come this far. Our faith in him throughout our history made us who we are. You place your hand on his Bible when you swear to tell the truth. His name is on our greatest monuments and all our money too. And when we pledge allegiance, there's no doubt where we stand. There's no separation. We're one nation under him. In God we still trust. Here in America, he's the one we turn to every time the going gets rough. He is the source of our strength, the one who watches over us. Here in America, in God we still trust. Now there are those among us who want to push him out, to erase his name from everything this country's all about. From the schoolhouse to the courthouse, there's silence in his word. Now it's time for all believers to make our voices heard. It's time to make our voices heard. In God we still trust. Here in America, he's the one we turn to every time the going gets rough. He is the source of our strength, the one who watches over us. Here in America, in God we still trust. Here in America, here in America, here in America, in God we still trust.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're gonna close our evening with God Bless America. And once again, I wasn't sure whether to do this, but so many wonderful voices. You're gonna join the choir too here tonight, okay? So I wanna hear you all sing in just a moment. I'd like to thank some of our representatives for the armed forces were guests with us tonight. We're so glad that they're here with us. Thank you, Dustin, for sharing your story. Becca, thanks for being here. You know, I see Bill down here. Bill, you got a big event coming up, July 29, Saturday, Memorial Park. 70-year anniversary since the end of the Korean war. And so veterans, widows, come and be a part of that. And get on patrioticproductions.org. It'll tell you more information. Okay, are we ready? Let's rise to our feet. God bless America. Let me hear your voices now. Thank you, flag bearers. Let them exit now. Well, I do hope you have a renewed sense of pride that in our great country, and also a renewed sense of God's goodness and faithfulness to us as a country, but even more to us as individuals too. Well, all I can say now is have a very safe and happy 4th of July. Good night, everybody.
Oh